disrupted.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So, apparently, I don't know what I can make of this, but we have been unveiling a new tidbit on the evil mastermind of Bill Gates. Just when you thought you know how much of a sick, psychopathic man he is, it's only a tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. The COVID response, his lucrative hands on everything from the media to the first responders to the WHO to Microsoft to the intelligence community. It's only half of the nefarious stuff that this man who wears a sweater vest and looks like an absolute nerd, so we're supposed to trust him, even though he is a nefarious psychopath and a sociopath and a narcissist in so many different levels, just to name a few. There's a lot more that needs to be addressed, because obviously this mastermind billionaire is not getting his riches just on happiness and helping community. He's continuing to manipulate, and in more so manipulating nature, according to this video that I just got surfaced here. So here's this, and I don't know really what to make of this. And this is from a tweet by Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus, and she says that this is Bill Gates' Mosquito factory in Colombia. It's the largest in the world. 30 million genetically modified mosquitoes are released every week into 11 countries. Because Bill knows better than nature, what could possibly go wrong? I'm still reeling in the shock that there's actually a mosquito factory. I'm still in shock that the insect that we get every single summer, that I still continue to get mosquito bites, and I got currently still some on my arm just from yesterday, is factory made. I'm still in shock by this. And they're also genetically modifying these mosquitoes, in part with Bill Gates. As this doctor points out, what could possibly go wrong when Bill Gates is at the master helm of genetically modifying insects? Just like when Bill Gates, a tech billionaire, is at the behests of the health organizations. What could possibly go wrong? And she links to this video here of the tour of the factory in Colombia. Take a look at this.
Hi, I'm Scott O'Neill here in Medellin, Colombia today, and I'm at the world's biggest mosquito factory for the World Mosquito Program. We're making in here 30 million mosquitoes a week. Come and have a look. We're doing it for a very serious reason. Cities like Medellin have suffered from diseases like dengue, Zika, chikungunya for decades, but not anymore. We've been able to bring the solution of Wolbachia mosquitoes to this city. When this bacteria called Wolbachia gets introduced into the mosquito, it stops their ability to transmit dengue. We release mosquitoes that have Wolbachia. Now they go and mate, and Wolbachia gets passed into the wild mosquito population. If we're going to control these diseases in all the tropical cities of the world, it's going to require a lot of mosquitoes. The mosquito life cycle starts with the egg, and in this room, we've got a lot of eggs. Each one of these strips, these tiny black dots, are up to 10,000 mosquito eggs. Across all of these strips, about 1.5 million dried eggs waiting to hatch. In this tray, we've got the newly hatched eggs. They're little larvae, so small you can hardly see them. They're going to sit in here for a few days and eat and get bigger until they look like these ones over here. They're starting to turn into pupae. We're wanting to do the next step of sorting the males from the females. We want to do that so we can manipulate the sex ratio in the cages to be more female than male. The bottom ones along here are the boys, and the ones at the top are the girls. They're bigger. From here, they're going into the adult cages. We have adults that we continuously grow in what we call our brood stock. And then over here, we have the mass-produced mosquitoes getting ready to give us the eggs to go out directly into the field. It's crazy how they sound. You might wonder, what do we feed all these mosquitoes here? Well, I can tell you, we've got the good stuff in here. On the top shelf, literally, we've got the blood. They love it. Once the mosquitoes are grown, they're ready to go out into the field.
Oh my God. And the fact that they had this with uplifting music. Oh my God. This is why I have such a weird... This is why I have a mixed reception when it comes to science. Because as much as I would love to believe that, you know, we're doing good for humanity and advancements in technology is supposed to help better society, this is where our advancements are going. Instead of, you know, trying to, you know, reduce the risks of cancer, rather than trying to find a safe renewable energy source, rather than trying to stop, you know, trying to actually solve the world's problems for the better, I feel like we're just creating more problems to then solve them so that Bill Gates and other billionaire investors can make the most money off this. After everything we know about COVID, after everything we know about, you know, these global health organizations, the fact that we know about now they're manipulating mosquitoes. They're purposely injecting mosquitoes to send off to countries to infect us with random vaccine medicine. I don't even know what they give them. It didn't even say what they give. I'm just, oh my God. I feel like I'm going to need a minute. This is just damn right. This is insane. I just, So, this is actually a thing.
Hi.
And this is actually a factory. No kidding. This is actually a factory, a true factory that harvests mosquitoes to inject them and manipulate their DNA so that they can go travel to other countries and infect us with that DNA to alter our DNA. How am I just knowing about this now? How am I just knowing about this now? There's so many things that I feel like I want to know, but actually don't want to know because of this. Because I don't even know what to say now. I really don't know what to say. So, this is part of, there's an actual organization called the World Mosquito Program. And this is what that factory was linked to. And this is what they talked about here. So it says under their website, the World Mosquito Program is a non-for-profit group of companies owned by Monash University that works to protect the global community from mosquito-borne diseases such as dengue, Zika, yellow fever, and chikungunya. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I literally thought that was something they serve at Taco Bell. But it's actually a disease. I didn't know that, but I'm not a medical scientist. Just saying. It says, since releasing the first Wolbachia mosquitoes in 2011, evidence from international pilot studies show that we can use Wolbachia more broadly to decrease the risk of mosquitoes transmitting viruses. Multiple trials in various locations demonstrate that our method is a safe and effective way to prevent the spread of diseases across cities and regions. We continue to rapidly expand our operations by building partnerships with local governments and communities around the world who are embracing our Wolbachia method. It almost sounds too familiar. Not to be, the tinfoil hat conspiracy nut here, but it almost sounds too familiar where a giant global non-for-profit organization, or as they say, an NGO, funded by the Gates Foundation, is gathering a bunch of communities together in partnership with releasing a bunch of mosquitoes to infect us with random chemicals. Not to sound too crazy, but that is definitely cringeworthy. And the fact that I'm just knowing about this now is just I feel like I need to bathe myself for like days. I feel disgusted. And what's even more disgusting is they tried to hide the fact. So under the video that we showed you on Twitter, that's the original tweet from Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus. Wasn't that Bullwinkle's girlfriend? I don't know. I feel like I know that name before. Twitter had to make a correction, or trying to make a correction to this. So they said underneath the video, because apparently we need more context to this, they said that the World Mosquito Program is owned by Monash University and does not use genetically modified mosquitoes. So they're trying to make that connection. But they also have to add, however, it has accepted $50 million AUD, which is Australian currency, I do believe, AUD, in funding from the Gates Foundation. I'm glad they clarified that. I'm glad they clarified that. Not the fact that, the Gates Foundation is an evil global empire that grapples its hands on every single industry to try to manipulate for the worst. Not giving that context. But they want to make sure that it's not genetically modified mosquitoes, even though we're injecting them with a bunch of chemicals to spread around the world. It is not genetically modified, but is in partnership with the Gates Foundation. That they're solely invested in GMOs. The Gates Foundation has spent billions of dollars investing in genetically modified organisms. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars and billions of dollars in research. That is, I can't believe, even Twitter trying to hide this. It is just so unbelievably insane. So, of course, I had to find this out for myself, who was exactly on the truth side of this. But luckily, publications like Science Magazine here has proven that this was actually a thing. This is actually true. This is actually a factory that harvests a bunch of mosquitoes to spread a bunch of chemicals from a laboratory in South America. So this came about saying GM mosquitoes, that's genetically modified mosquitoes, trial strains tied in Gates-funded project. And this is from 2010. This is from 2010. And nobody told us that when Bill Gates was the headmaster of all the media presentations when it came to COVID. The fact that he was on PBS, that he funds. The fact that he bought all the media to be the centerfold of making sure everybody gets vaccinated. Nobody told us about this. And all the nefarious, lucrative stuff that he's done in the past. Nobody's brought this to attention. I'm still in shock that mosquitoes came from a factory. Apparently. So it says about a year ago, genetically modified mosquitoes were released into the wild, and now they've been flying under the world's radar screen until last week. On November 11th, British company Oxitec, I think that's how you pronounce it, announced that it carried out the world's first small indoor trial with transgenic Aedes aegypti mosquitoes in the Caribbean island of Grand Cayman in the fall of 2009, followed by a larger study there last summer. The trials were designed to test whether such designer mosquitoes could be successfully used to fight wild mosquitoes that transmit diseases like dengue fever. The announcement made at a press briefing in London has taken aback opponents of genetically modified mosquitoes and surprised many researchers in the field of genetic control of insect vectors. Holy crap. This is like Dr. Frankenstein insane science. This is like locked in a tower where there's a thunderstorm going crazy, like playing God with nature. I don't know what to explain. I don't know what I could say more to this. It's already insane to begin with. It's already, I'm speechless by this. Some of the questioning why the company stayed mum for so long, calling it a strategic mistake that provides critics of genetic modification with fresh ammunition. I don't think that they did themselves a favor, says Bart Knowles, a medical entomologist of the University of Amsterdam. This could well trigger a backlash. Luke Alfie, scientific chief officer of Oxitec, says he completely rejects the notion that there is anything secretive about the trial, which was well known within the island's population of 50,000, he says, but just not picked up internationally. Scientists have long debated how and when to carry out the first test release of transgenic mosquitoes designed to fight human disease. A landmark study they imagine might trigger fierce resistance from opponents of genetic engineering. Holy crap. A stream of papers and reports have argued that a release of any genetically modified mosquito should be preceded by years of carefully groundwork, including an exhaustive public debate to win the hearts and minds of the local You think we're going to release a bunch of genetically modified insects into your community? Do you think it's acceptable? No, we'll forget the debate. Just let it happen. Let it infect the world. This is just insanely diabolical. Insanity. And I know about GMOs from, hearing about foods that they're trying to, infuse different organisms into different foods and trying to genetically modify so food lasts longer and like all the craziness with that. That's nothing. Apparently that's just nothing compared to this. And it makes you wonder, what else have they genetically modified and altered in nature to do the worst for us? Like, they're trying to help us by altering nature. The thing that's going to help us the most is connecting with nature, true nature, original nature, not modifying, playing God like demon wizardry like this. This is like dark magic. Like, I don't even know what I could say to this. And they didn't have a debate. Gee. It exactly sounds like something that just happened a couple years ago when they also didn't have a debate. They didn't have decorum. They didn't have the Barrington Declaration, which would actually target a specific group of people that would be the most vulnerable. It seems to be their method. It seems to be their go-to, their principle at any Bill Gates funded laboratory. That there's no debate, no decorum, no message, no word getting out. We're just going to play God and infect people with a bunch of chemicals. You're not going to know about it until now. Until some late 20-something-year-old Canadian kid finds this on the internet. Holy crap. But little was been done in the trials in the Cayman Islands. Alfie says because the government didn't deem it necessary. I'm sure they didn't deem it necessary. It's easy to not deem it necessary when you have a paycheck right in front of you. How many zeros did it take to buy out the local governments to allow this to happen? You know, how much did it take? How much did it take? We'll buy you a new arena. We'll transform your streets into gold. We'll do anything for you. Just let us release a bunch of toxic bugs into your atmosphere so it can affect your people. And if they live long enough, then the trial was a success. Oh my God. I feel violated. I feel violated. Because we really are a bunch of guinea pigs to these people. We are the lab rats in these sick pseudoscience games. Like, the more they alter with chemicals and DNA and nature and altering the balance of science, like, it just makes it worse for people. I know that they're trying so hard to make it sound uplifting, like we're going to cure diseases. By the way, diseases we don't even know exactly where they came from. Nobody's actually researched on that. They won't tell you where, dengue fever originated or the backstory to it. And it's just adding more curiosity, if you will. This is why people have a bit of that kind of tinfoil hat conspiracy in them. When all this is connected together, when they try to hide scientific evidence, when they don't question their own data, when they don't do fundamental research to prove that genetically modifying mosquitoes is effective. They have no background, no history, no original data or evidence to back these claims. They're just going to release it to the wild, and you may or may not be living through it. And this is back in 2010. This is back in 2010. So we've been doing this for, so I'm guessing these altered mosquitoes have been around for 13 years now. How am I just knowing about this now? I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. But the lack of public debate does not sit well with the collaborators in a big international project in which Oxitec is a key member to develop a test genetically modified mosquitoes. The project, funded by a $19.7 million grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and led by Anthony James of the University of California, Irvine, has spent years preparing a study site in the Mexican state of Chiapas for cage studies and a possible future release of any other strain of Oxitec mosquitoes. The work includes extensive dialogues with citizen groups, regulators, academics, and farmers. The project of one of the Gates' grand challenges in global health would never release GM mosquitoes the way Oxitec has done in the Cayman Islands, says James. Oxitec has received $5 million from the Gates program, but the Grand Island trial is not part of that. As a private company, they can push their own agenda. So that shatters the whole idea of, nonprofit. Shatters the whole idea of philanthropy. Oh, it's just a private company donating to this organization and it's doing good for the world. That whole philanthropy bullshit, yeah, it is bullshit. It is a profiteering machine. It is a complete diabolical, corrupted, globalist organization deemed to oppress you in ways you couldn't even imagine. And the fact that there is no studies, there is no medical records, the fact that this is donated by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which neither of them are doctors. Both Bill and Melinda have no medical background, no medical experience whatsoever. He didn't even run. He's not even a programmer at Microsoft, for God's sakes. Even his own employees know that. He is a Richie Rich type character and a narcissistic and a psychopath and a sociopath that bought his way to fame and fortune and now wants to dominate the entirety of the world by vaccines and mosquitoes and corn syrup. Like, what doesn't he have his hands on? Honestly, what doesn't he have his hands on? Because I bet you that's a very, very short list. Very short list. Holy crap. On top of all the other stuff that we know about this guy, and not even getting into the Epstein Island visits, that it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Bill Gates being buddy-buddy with Epstein. Like, on top of all that, now knowing this, and knowing that this is only this just minuscule steps of what this man is capable of and what he has his grueling hands on, is insane. And the fact that no one in the entire globe has the guts or the moxie or the initiative to do a full investigation on the criminal acts of this guy. They tried to. I remember back in the 90s they tried to. They were unsuccessful by it because Bill Gates ended up just paying the Justice Department to bribe himself away from any legal action, and this guy continues to thrive on. It is just so insane and so serpious. Like, this is just sinister to the next level. And it literally makes Jeff Bezos seem like a cuddly dinosaur compared to this guy. I literally am shocked. I'm literally shocked and I have no words. And I just don't want to know what else there is out there, because for my sanity, for my mental health, for your mental health, I don't think you want to know how dark and evil and gruesome this guy really is.